to turn the time over to Delphine. Thank you for being here. And
Good
then
morning,
stop sharing.
everybody. Good afternoon. Yeah, my name is Delphina Begay. I'm running Water Edge Business Solutions. It's a accounting, finance, and bookkeeping company. I started 3 years ago. Officially, my third year was this January. So with help with Change Lab, they really helped me get my company organized. Also had the opportunity to be in the cohort, really helped me push what I'm doing. And just this morning now looking through the film footages, it's really awesome to see a lot of my cohorts in there, and then seeing some of the participants. I kind of recognize some names, some small business owners there. And it's really neat that we see all those owners in there, and it's like we almost have our own little mall of services. And my company really wants to serve rural, small, remote businesses in Indian country. I mostly have a lot of clients on Navajo Nation. I have a few in Phoenix in the Valley. My ultimate goal is hopefully in the next 2 years, I can capture all 22 tribes in Arizona for small businesses. And I'll go ahead and I'll start my introduction again. So for me, I like to start with a quote of the day. Our greatest weakness lies in giving up. The most certain way to succeed is always to try one more time. And that was me in a nutshell. I was really hesitant to start my business. It took me 3 years ago to finally push myself in what I'm doing, because I know that my community needs those services. And I've always worked in accounting and in finance, most of my 20 plus career life in there. And when I went home I told myself that I need to go home at least and work for my people. I was trying to work for the tribe, but that didn't work out. It's just something that was just not my fit in organizations there. And I found my way through Navajo small business, family-owned business out in northern Arizona. So that's where I got most of my experience. So this is my logo, Water Edge Business Solutions. Going through the cohort, this is an AI design. So Holly and I designed this logo through AI when I went through my cohort. So I kind of wanted to keep it clean. And I'm actually a Nash Edge Kapaha, so I figured I'd flip my clan. So that's why I did Water Edge instead of Edge Water. And then, keeping it that turquoise color, because we know for me, turquoise in Navajo too is the sacred protection color for us. So that's kind of my image, and trying to keep it clean. So that's how I started working with Holly and the AI. So AI is so crazy. So it's something I'm still trying to get adjusted to, but I need to start learning.
Delphine, I'm so sorry. We're not seeing your screen.
Oh, my apologies. Did I do that? Shared screen.
That's probably when I shared screen. It took over.
There you go. Can you guys see it now?
Okay.
Oh, I apologize. So let me back up. Let's see if I can back up. Do you see it? Oh my gosh. Okay, there it is. Okay, so here's my logo. Again, like I said, can you guys all see it now?
Yeah, we can see it.
Okay, awesome. My apologies. So this is my logo, all AI. I went through the cohort program. There's a session weekend that we were designing. So I designed with one of the Change Lab organizers, Holly. So this is what I have. And then, so my mission statement for Water Edge Business Solutions, LLC, wants to assist with small business entrepreneurs to develop and grow their own businesses. So that's my ultimate mission for my business. My name is Delphina Begay. I'm originally from White Mesa, Lichee community. White Mesa is between Tonalea, Red Lake, and Kaibito. So that's where my Masanas are originally from. My Nellies are from the Lichee community. So I like to recognize both of them because I'm just a close-knit community, and we're pretty much sort of neighbors. My clans are Nash Ejet born for Sinajini. My Chays are Twidditch Eatney, and my Nellies are Beepa20s. So that's my clans, and that's just my proper introduction. So before starting my business, I had over 20 years of experience in finance and accounting industry. My first job after I graduated from NAU was being an auditor for the auction casino. And then as I progressed through my career, I had titles such as financial analyst, I was an accountant, finance director, and finally worked myself up as a chief finance officer for the Navajo small business that when I went back home. A lot of the industries I have in working in accounting and finance is mostly the government, state, the casinos, the Indian Health Service, and small businesses. So what the opportunity for working on Navajo land, so the small stories I did, I was just kind of overwhelmed working in the city all my time. And sometimes you just get career-wise, you just get burnout. So I felt like I did a burnout. And then I took a couple months off and then recollected myself. And then just from hearing people, they were saying there was a tour company up in northern Arizona that's looking for a finance person or an accounting person. So I gave them a call, and the owner came up to me and just said that, yeah, I was like, I'm looking for a job. I heard you're looking. She's like, yeah, come up. I need somebody. So I drove up to Navajo and Lachey community. They actually run one of the Antelope Canyon companies there. And that's how I got my start, my opportunity to work on Navajo land. And they literally just kind of like, here's what we have. We're trying to organize everything. I have a few staffing. And so I end up working for Adventures Antelope Canyon Tour. So I don't know if you can see the little, their logo of the bear and inside the canyon. So I worked for that one. They're run by the Big Thumb families. So working there really gave me the opportunity to explore, understand the field. What does small businesses really need versus corporate government businesses? So it's a little bit different. And then I really enjoyed it. And they let me just do the work on my own and just kind of organize everything. And I literally did, like, they basically had files and boxes of receipts and organizations. They had simplified things of tracking the best they can, but they needed more because they were just growing and growing. And I had a staff of 4 in the finance department, and I'm super proud of these ladies that I worked with, because this is where I'm not there to be a finance accountant just for myself to, reconcile, balance things in my books. I want to teach and grow and make sure that there's talents in our nation to take care of your businesses. And I hope I do that forefront, is finding the talent, finding that Navajo girl, that Navajo guy that works for you, that's helping your company grow as well. And that's their expertise. So I was fortunate. I had one of my staff is a mother of I think she has over 6 kids, and smart lady. And I encouraged her to go back to school. She took small business classes, little at a time, balancing her family, balancing being a mom, balancing being a wife. And to this day, was able to get our certificate at Coconino Community College, which we have a base in Page. The other one, she was my assistant. When we encouraged her, by the time I left the company, she graduated with her accounting degree at ASU. So those success stories like that, and encouraging and mentoring my indigenous brothers and sisters, that's where it really fulfills my heart when I do something like that. And encouraging you business owners out there this afternoon that are attending the session, you are a mentor. You are a mentor for your children, your grandkids, your neighbors. And I see it that way because you took a risk to start what you're doing, and you're attending this session. And you will make an impact on your community. So today I'm going to cover bookkeeping and record keeping. So these are the things I like to highlight. What is bookkeeping and why is it important? Why bookkeeping throughout the years is important, and key steps to keeping your books organized, and the importance of accounting softwares and understanding your financial reports. So I'm going to kind of highlight this. Feel free, everybody, if you have any questions, please feel free to interject. And I want to just keep this in mind, trying to think about your closeouts, because we're now in March. Next month in April, you guys are going to be filling out all of your tax forms. So really keeping the bookkeeping and record keeping is a daunting task, but at the end of the day, if you keep this going, it's going to be an easier closeout for next month. Okay. So the 3 learning objectives you will acquire as the result of my presentation is it allows you to see exactly how your business is performing. It helps your business analysis, your strategic planning and budgeting, and it just gets you business tax ready. So really, this whole like presentation is just really getting you business tax ready. We don't want you to stress out and things like that for next month. What is bookkeeping? Bookkeeping is the process of recording your company's financial transaction into organized accounts on a regular basis. So your bookkeeping is, with all you're swiping your business card for expenses and the receipts, just making sure in a whole entirety that you are keeping that organized and you're tracking it. Is basically just tracking it and getting you ready for your year-end closeout and getting ready for next month when you are going to submit your tax forms. So when you're getting your incomes, revenues, deposits from your Square or from your Fair Harbor or whatever point of sales that you're going through, because a lot of us are utilizing those systems. So you'll get a deposit in your business banking account, and that's also, and then you're expending by just, if you're on business travel and you're going to a meeting to Window Rock and you're swiping your card for a hotel stay at Navajo Inn, and you're using that your business debit card, and at the end of the month we're gonna organize that whole thing. That's basically what you're doing is bookkeeping. You're just tracking your expenditures and your revenues for your business. Why is bookkeeping important? Well, it helps you keeps as much money as possible. It allows you to see exactly how your business is performing, and it tracks the cash flows accurately, and it helps you detect overpayments or bank errors. And also helps your business analysis, your strategic planning and budgeting. It gets your business tax ready, and it can attract investors, and it gives you clarity and a peace of mind. Why is bookkeeping throughout the year very important? Well, you must keep your adequate records of your business transactions. It's essential for business to devote time and money to keep your accurate financial reports. And when you have a balanced bookkeeping system, you'll always have an accurate indicator of your measurable success. Businesses of all sizes and ages can make strategic plans and develop realistic objectives. And business can build a financial portfolio, such as the main important ones are your profit and loss, your balance sheets, your cash flows. An accurate and well-maintained bookkeeping sets a strong basis for all levels of compliance. So in a nutshell, right now, if any of you guys are already applying for the Change Lab Nabisky loan that's being offered right now, this is kind of what they want us to organize when you're applying for that particular loan, is that we need you to have that profit and loss, the balance sheet, and the cash flows ready in order to, get you ready to finish these checklist steps for that loan process. And with bookkeeping and keeping organized of your business, it's going to be a seamless process. So key steps to keeping your books organized: keeping receipts for everything. So I highly recommend keeping your receipts for everything, from your income and your expenses. And then track your income and expenditures regularly. Either do it daily, weekly, or monthly. And track your accounts receivable, money owed to you, and the accounts payable, money you owe. If you are on a accounting software right now, I normally utilize QuickBooks for a lot of my clients, or Wave. So they have already in their system an accounts receivable and payables if you want to utilize it. But honestly, a lot of our small businesses, we don't utilize accounts receivable and payable. I think you would be ready after 5 years of working. It's usually what in and out, what you invoice them and things like that. So with all the accounts I have, there's only maybe 2 that in my accounts that use accounts receivable, payable, and reconciling all your accounts each month. So, and then create a financial report to give you specific information about your business. So the importance of accounting softwares. QuickBooks is the most popular accounting software. The other ones that's out there are FreshBooks, Xero, and Wave. Most people I know are using Wave or Xero, but mostly it's Wave and QuickBooks, it seems like, for our small business owners. So the pros of having accounting software: it's powerful, flexible, built for the task. And there's more information, there's less math errors, and it can be much quicker if you have a lot of transactions going in and out of your business. Not utilizing accounting software is often time expensive. A computer is required, and there's a learning curve. So understanding your financial reports. So these are the top 5 financial reports that we use for our business. If you're working on a software, again, is the profit and loss, the balance sheet, and getting these reports run, the AR aging, the AP aging, and our cash flows. Again, if you're seeking grants and loans, they really want to look at your profit and loss, balance sheet, and cash flows is usually what they'll request. So again, profit and loss or income statement. This profit and loss shows your revenue, expenses, and net income for the period of time, like for your fiscal year, your quarterly, or your monthly. And this should be reviewed monthly as well. And it provides us details about the performance of the business. So your profit and loss is your income minus your expenses equals your net income. So I'll give you an example of this is what your profit and loss or income statement looks like. So the top part, usually you gather your net sales or your cost of sale and your cost of sales, and that's your profit, the gross profit there. So that's the number 1. And then number 2 is your expenses. So those are where all your business expenses, your operational expenses. This is the line that you put all of your expenses. And then there's other incomes that's going in on the line 3. And then we add those all up and you'll get your net income. Just a reminder, folks, when you see your business banking every month and you see that your balance there, it's not necessarily, you can't really compare that balance of your bank account number into that income statement, because within your bank account and all your banking activities that you're doing, some of those pieces are not going to be on the income statements. We move those to the balance sheet. So just a reminder. So try not to be always looking at your bank statements and saying, oh, okay, I still have some money in the bank for this month and I'm okay to spend money for the next month. So just when you're, as far as like organizing that piece, it's just, we put a portion of it in the income statement, and then some of it is moved to another financial statement. Does anybody have any questions in regards to the income statement? And then at the end, we can probably just, if you have other business questions, well, we can go ahead and discuss that. On the balance sheet, this shows your assets, your liabilities, and equity at a snapshot in time. And this provides us with the details about the position of the business and how much your company's book value is. On this side, the equation is the asset equals a liability plus the equity. So this is the business balance sheet. So as you can see, your non-current assets on the top, and that's usually just like your building, equipment, fixtures of your business. And then at the bottom of the current assets are your inventories, your accounts receivables, some of your short-term investments, prepaid expenses are sitting in this line. So you add those 2 up, and then that's your assets. And then at the bottom is your liability. So that's where you got your non-current liabilities, your current liabilities, and shareholder equities are all sitting in this line. So when you are going to pay yourself out in your business and you see those transactions in your business account and you're doing drawdowns, meaning owner draws, like you're going to pay yourself from your business, this is where your owner's draw goes into. It doesn't go into the profit and loss statement. It comes here in your business, and it's going to be sitting in your shareholders equity area. So that's where your drawdowns are. So when you're running your accounting software and you mark and categorize your owner's draw, when you draw out of your business to pay yourself out, this is where the financial softwares will put your owner's draws in. The next one is your cash flow statement. This shows the opening and closing cash within a specific period. It's the inflow and outflow is itemized, and it demonstrates the company's ability to operate in a short and long term based on how much cash is flowing into and out of it. By reading a cash flow statement, you can see how much cash different types of activities generate, then makes a business decision based on the analysis. So the cash flow gets broken apart again from all of your what you're working on in your business. So there's a portion of your cash flow that's the operating activity. So it analyzes just the operating. And then there's the investment activities, what you're investing, and then your financing activities. And that's how the cash flow is broken apart, and then shows you what that point in time, what your cash flow is. So in this particular sample, this is back for March of 2020. This is at that point in time. This is how much cash flow they had. Now there's the AR aging and the AP aging reports. QuickBooks has this already aligned, so I utilize this a lot, especially during year-end close. So I'm very attentive. The system will tell you when you produce an AR, how long the AR has been sitting, and when you're invoicing your clients, and let's say you're invoicing them $1,000 in January, so they still haven't paid you, and finally they've paid you like 3 months later in March. This is where they will, when you do a monthly report, it'll tell you how many days that particular client has not paid you to. So that's what the aging reports are. So it shows the customer's balance that are outstanding, how many days past due. And then the accounts payable is the vendor's balance are outstanding, how many days past due. So, and this is helpful, especially when you start growing your business and getting a lot of numerous accounts. And if you're doing the AR systems, it's very helpful to understand that report. But like I said, currently small starting businesses to up to maybe 4 years, they still haven't yet utilized this type of processing, but you will eventually do this once you grow your business. So the purpose of the financial reports, all of those reports, it just summarizes the business activity and the financial performance of your small business. And the information is used by the readers to make business decisions. So 4 reasons to outsource your small business bookkeeping is if you're too busy to do it yourself, you're not knowledgeable enough to do it yourself, and you want to maximize your tax breaks, and you want to make sure you're claiming the right deductions. So I feel like if what you're doing, what service, what industry you're doing, and you're really good at that, and you gain that momentum, and if you have a budget for a bookkeeper, I highly recommend that, because your focus is to grow your business, and your second focus is not being the CFO of your business and having all these multiple hats. And I feel like if you have multiple hats, you kind of you'll miss out on some of these missed opportunities of maximizing your deductions, your small business deductions. And once you hire bookkeeping, you can always ask that bookkeeper, like, can I do this? Is this doable? Is this a small business expense? And you can get that information pretty quickly than putting a set aside and saying, oh, I'll do it later and I'll research if it really is a good business expense. So I feel like find a really good bookkeeper, because that's what they do in their business, is to help you grow your business. And your business is having finance and accounting is the second most important thing in a business. And in you running your service industry, whatever products you're doing, that's your number one thing. You want to grow that. So that's where I kind of express it's very good to invest in a bookkeeper. So basically, keeping business and personal finance separate, it's really essential. It really try to make a habit. Don't mix your business and personal finances. So if, let's say, you have your business card and you have your regular personal debit card, and you're at Walmart or something, and you forgot your personal card, and you're purchasing everyday groceries, for your family to make dinner, and you end up sliding your business card instead because you forgot your card or something like that. And when you're closing out that month and we see that grocery bill, and it's not necessarily, you're in your business of making, you're a printing company. How is that aligned to a small business? So those little things like that, I will flag him as a bookkeeper, or I'll pay attention and know that that's not their business. And then for me, the best fit to fix is I end up just putting it into their owner's draw if they mistakenly done it, or they can reimburse the company. But it's just, for me, I think just marking that as an owner's draw even like us ladies, we want to get our nails done, but really it's not a business expense, but we flag it as a business expense. Then I would just tell them we're going to book it towards your owner's draw. And your books don't have to be complicated. I myself, some of my clients have a budget, so they can't afford the accounting software services that are out there, and I built up one for them. So we just will kind of work one-on-one together and pull on a simple Excel spreadsheet, and then I just pivot off to get the final reports for them. So and that really is for people, for small business owners that are startups from year 1 to year 3, is okay to still utilize the old school spreadsheets and utilize that format if you're trying to, save up, because QuickBooks it's been getting expensive year over year. For the past 3 years, it used to be like $25 and now it's almost $45 within 3 years of that. QuickBooks Excel. So that's just a basic. Keeping all your backup documents, your receipts, your bills, your invoices. And I really highly recommend the high-end dollars. So startups at $500, make sure you keep those $500+ receipts, invoices, bills handy, put it in a folder, however you guys want to organize that, or scan it. And also importantly is to back up your technology, because we don't want you to lose that. But if you're in an accounting software, it's already kind of backed up in their own online system. And why is it important to get you tax ready? Why it's important to bookkeep and record keep is it gets you tax ready. It allows you to plan for growth, and it helps you make good business decisions, and it prepares for you to seek grants and loans. I'm going to keep it here for really quick. I like to maybe share chart of accounts because I think this is helpful for business owners. Raquel, are you able to pull up that chart of account that I sent you? And I think she'll go ahead and send all of today's guests that are here that chart of account for just helpful things, for helpful to organize your expenditure line. So let me see if I can open on my end. Did anybody have any discussions and questions, or we still have a few amounts, but I'm up for if you have particular questions about your revenues and expenses to your year-end closeouts. If you're not sure where you should categorize it, maybe we can do some samples and walk through and say where would it go, or where would you categorize, or if it's actually a true small business account. I'm up for that discussion. And I can unshare and we can go through some of the chart of accounts that are for small businesses. That did you get it? I think I emailed it to you this morning.
Yeah, I have it up. Can everybody see it all right? I can.
Do I stop sharing on my end?
Yeah.
I'm gonna stop sharing so you can pull it up. Okay, so here it is. So these are some of the main drivers when you're running your business. These are the expenditures that so these are the top 36 that I feel are really important. So advertising for your business. So a lot of small businesses I'll just give you some real life scenarios. So I have a few during the Indian National Finals Rodeo. Some of these athletes are starting to get really business savvy as well. So a lot of them have actually sent out, sponsorship requests to Native small businesses. And I myself, where we are supporting, our community, and the athletes are starting to get business savvy as well. And so when they sent these out, a few of my clients actually sponsored them during INFR. So what I suggest is that's where we put them, because we kind of encourage them to put their business logos on their Western shirts. They have all that stuff going on. And we give them like $1,000 sponsorship. So this is where we would put that particular athlete's sponsorship in the advertising line. And that's where I would categorize it, because they're out there advertising that small business at the rodeo. So that's some of the other things. In the community, if you're maybe decide to sponsor or donate some money to your local school or the local kids baseball, softball teams, as long as you give them your logo and advertise it, this is where your advertising expense will go into. And then things like even our traditional ceremonies, if you're sponsoring, you're going to give them some things, this is where it would go. And you could do if we have these summer summer dog and stuff like that. Even that, you're gonna go to the local grocery store to get, the basic necessities for making the fry bread. So those little is an kind of like an in-kind expense, and it would go here as a goodwill. Yes, Albert?
So, quick question about advertising. So sometimes I out and about, like let's say I'm going to Farmington, or let's say I'm going to Phoenix or Albuquerque, all these places. Sometimes, occasionally, I come across people who are interested in my product and I sell it, and I make a sell there. In what capacity can I consider advertising as a write-off in that sense?
So you sell your product to them, or can you explain that
Uh,
again?
so with the app, they're like, oh, I show them this app that I have, and they often want to know how to get it, and I show them how to get it and everything,
Uh-huh.
right then and there in that
Oh,
location. Sometimes I sell, like one case I sold in Philadelphia, and others I sold in South Dakota. How could I utilize that, I guess, in a sense, for writing off?
writing off that when you were over in, like, for example, you're in Philadelphia, writing off the travel expenses at that time? Is that what you're talking? Because it sounds like you're getting revenue at that. You sold it at that one point, right? And then now,
Yes.
and you were just there just for a non-business function, and it turned into a business function?
Yes. To what
Okay.
extent can I do that?
As long as you track those travels and make sure that if it's not mixed with business and it end up turning business, and you already have that person swiped and paid for that necessity, then you can mark those as travel expenses at that time. Because yes, you are doing, you sold at Philadelphia or Houston or something unexpectedly, but just kind of like be cognizant of that. It depends on how much sell you're selling to. Does that help?
All
Is
right.
that helpful?
Yes. Thank you.
Okay. Continuing education. So this is the line. Let's say you want to take a bookkeeping class at your local community college and you register for a QuickBook class. And this is where your expense would go. This is what you would categorize as a continuing education. If any of you guys already signed up for the Navajo Nation Economic Summit, I believe it's next month, and you got your registration fee for that, that's where you would also categorize as a continuing education, because you're going to the conference, you're going to be learning about, your small business and things like that. That's where your expenses for those items would go for just like you're learning things for your company. So the credits and collection fees, these are just that's just the other outside fees. Let me see what it says. So this is just other bank fees, non-bank fees, credits. That's where you can categorize. This one doesn't really often happen with small businesses just yet. So I don't really use this categorization. The fourth one is bank fees. Those are your bank fees on your bank statement. When you have bank, some of you guys will have paper bank. I just irritates me. They charge you like $5 for actual paper statements, and those are the things. Just review those, and that's where in your overdraft fees, all those maintenance fees for the banking, that's where those are all considered bank fees. Just like look at it and makes right now, like when you're running your reports, just check on it, and if you can take it off and just use your online features, you can save $5. So saving $5 multiplied by 5 or 12, that's a cost saving to your business, because I think on average it's 12. So you can save $60 for the year, and you can buy printing inks for that, because if you pay attention and check to see if your bank statements, you get fees for just having them print your bank statements. Dues and subscriptions. Dues and subscriptions are here. So if you are in a field, if you have a specific field, your applications, things like that, memberships for professional trades, if you're like from a marketing thing, if you have a marketing group, kind of like an organization, this is where your dues and subscriptions are. If you're part of like the Net Chamber of Commerce or your city chamber of commerce or anything like that, and you pay that fee for that yearly or monthly fees, this is where it will go. Number 6 is employee benefit programs. These are just benefit programs, and usually small businesses like us haven't utilized this, but once you get going and rolling and you actually have a payroll and you're paying payroll, you get into the payroll processing, and you decide to explore other opportunities for your employees and you pay into some of these benefit programs, this is the one this line. And honestly, this doesn't happen until you you decide if you're going to have a full employee payroll system going. Your insurance is number 7. This is your business liability insurance that will go here. Honestly, I don't like to mix the vehicle insurance in here. I move it just into the vehicle expense because to me, it's truly a vehicle expense. But it's either or. It's either if you want it. You can put the vehicle expense insurance only here in this area if you like to, but I like to put it in the other line. Are you able to move up again, please? Maintenance and repairs. This is maintenance and repairs for your small business. Let's say you have a building out on the reservation and you're building and you just want to build out just repairs and maintenance for your area of the business. This is those kind of expenses. I have a few tour company clients and they have those makeshift business buildings. They're kind of like the little, I don't know what they're like, they kind of look like a she shed type of thing, but it's actually like you can conduct business, and then just keeping the area and just like maintenance in the area, putting the awnings and things like that. I have my clients, if they need to do any repairs for those, that's where it will go. Also, if like some of them are running on generators on the nation, repairing the generator, oil changes stuff, I will put it here. Vehicles, again, you can put the vehicle maintenance and repair, but I honestly like to keep the vehicle line all vehicle related. Generator is a little bit different. I feel like it's a different type of equipment, so repairing and getting the oil change for the generator would go here. Legal and professional expenses are here so if you hire an attorney, if you're going to utilize a CPA next month to close out your books, if you hire a bookkeeper, this is where the lines will go for the professional expenses. Office expenses, supplies. So this is all office related items that you need, like paper, ink. What else would you put in there? Just a lot of softwares, and like I said, website hosting. So if you have GoDaddy or utilizing something WordPress or something like that, you can put those in this line. Telephone, business telephone lines here, that's your business expense. I'm getting a lot of questions about some of you guys are using your cell phones for personal and business. But if it's predominantly you're utilizing your business for business, utilizing your cell phone for business, it's fine that you put it in the telephone expense. If you're not using that particular cell phone, because some of us have multiple cell phones, if you're not using it for business whatsoever, you really shouldn't account for it in this line in your business expenses. Your utilities are here, your NTOA bill, your trash service when you're taking your trash to, Tuba City trash dumpster, you get that bill. That's where this would go. Your internet, so your Starlinks are over here. This is where the utilities will roll up. Your Porta-John account that is cleaning your Porta-Johns at your business work site. That's where I would categorize that for the expenses. And then there's postage and shipping. So if some of you guys are like in the fashion or selling products and you're shipping out all those items out, this is where the expense will go, is the postage and shipping. Next page. And then the next ones are printing. Printing, again, you can put your ink cartridge, all that items here. Your rent, some of us are renting on a small business in the area, so that your rent you put there. And then there's salary and compensations. And again, these are the small businesses that actually have a payroll system out. This is where they would actually compensate for salary and other compensations. A lot of us are still utilizing the W-9 workers, which means contractors, and this wouldn't go in that line. So that would be under a contractor line. So if you're W-9ing people, I'll piggyback on that one on the W-9s after I finish all the chart of account that we have. Travel will be your flights, your hotels, your meals when you're doing the traveling. Your parking fees, those ride shares, all that will go in this line. But just to note that the meals for the travel, they will only account 50% of the total cost for the year. So if you spent over, spent $500 in business travel meals, IRS is only going to count 250 of those dollars. All right, we've talked about utilities already. Again, business meals. Okay, I have a question. Okay, so we'll go ahead and answer this question. Shoni said, I produced my new film, The Arrangement, most of my 2024. My expenditure went well into the red halfway through the production and mostly on credit cards after actual ran out. I premiered my film in mid-December and have been doing my best in 2025 year doing screenings to get my return on investment. This takes time and more to do. So for my 2024 tax, I will have a financial loss. However, I do hope to get my ROI hopefully this year by screenings and eventually. Okay. Yes. So don't worry. I mean, we are going to be, if you go in the red and you close out with the loss, and then, so you're probably going to close out your 2024 in a loss. And once you do that and you submit your taxations and things like that, it might, in total, if you are also a W-2 worker or you have other projects going, it is what it is. You have to just report it as a loss on the IRS portion of your at your year-end close. And then at the next year, when you're saying 22, you would have to be strategic about making sure you get that, making sure we make up for the loss from 2024 to 2025. So at this time, you would just kind of be cognizant of what you're spending down, what you really have to budget yourself then and make sure that you are going to be able to get your profits back from prior year. And it might balance out if we were to like run a report from 2024 to 2025. And if you do that, make that cost up, at least you strategically plan that. But what you did and what you report is what happened. So you can't, there's no real way to like retro pay you back, pay the prior 2024, but we'll see it in the new year. Yes. So I definitely will. You just need to strategically plan, let March close out. So your quarter one's done. So that's really helpful data for you, Shoni. So just finish up this month and then rerun your quarter one reports, your revenues and expenditures, and then go from there. Maybe you can strategically plan and also start doing your budget yourself. Definitely. So I would definitely work on that. As a business owner, who do you use to do your yearly taxes? A regular tax company like H&R Block or business tax preparers. I use H&R Block, but I feel like I wasn't getting enough full credits available. Caroline, I actually do my own taxes through a portal, and they do have some other recommendations, and it can be free for some of us business owners if we don't make this certain threshold, and it would be on the IRS link. There's an IRS, go to irs.gov and then look for tax preparation, and there's a section there that gives us a few recommendations that that will be utilized for free. Yes, some of these some of them do use H&R, and I feel like a lot of the other prior clients said the same thing, that they didn't get their full credits for some of these small business tax expenditures. So for me, my recommendation is just go hop on irs.gov and see which ones you can just look at. But again, for small business owners, that Schedule 1040, sometimes there's a little small nominal cost for the additional reports. The one I have to recheck which one it was. I've used it for years, so I'm so used to utilizing it. But like I said, I do my own taxes and do my own like credit and checks. So I can just look in IRS, and let me see if one of the girls on Change Lab can pull the IRS portal for the tax preparation. You can see that link. I'm willing to share. Let me clean up my slides, but I'm more than happy to send this chart of accounts I'm currently walking through with all of you. So that one's fine. As far as my slides, let me make it where it's not going to be shared, because I'm really kind of picky about when I'm doing my slides. I don't really like to share it. So let me make it like a copyright proof for you if you guys need that. Let's see. Business use. So on the business side of things, let's see. Okay, she shared the link there. So go ahead and look. There's a bunch of resources there. And then maybe I'll follow up with Change Lab and get you the links for other recommendations for your closeouts. How's that sound? So I'll send you guys some links. So the traveling expenses and you utilizing your business use of your car. It's really necessary as us small business owners to actually have a mileage report also on a monthly basis, because if you are a business owner on the nation or any in Indian country, we travel so much from one side of the reservation to the other. And right now, 2025, it's 70 miles per mile of your mileage is that's the new one. So they increase it from prior year. And just really getting grasp and getting a good spreadsheet or using an application, a software application you can use. But honestly, on the reservation, when I'm doing my travel, I can't use it. Just some areas are really spotty in the area. So I still do manual, especially when I do my travels in Indian country. But if you're working like Flagstaff and, Farmington, Albuquerque, or Phoenix, you can actually, if you have QuickBooks, you can actually get that traveling app for your QuickBooks or other application like Mile IQ. Can you slide down or move down again, please? And then these are some of the other stuff that you can use, all the softwares, books and magazines, subscriptions. We don't really do foreign earned incomes, license permits. So if you're in a Navajo Nation and the tour companies, they pay in Navajo Nation park permits. This is where you would utilize it, that $8 if you're a tour company. Licenses, every year, if you're Navajo Nation owned business, you have to submit a Form 100 and make sure that you're in compliance with your small business license. And if you have some requirements and fees, this is where it can go as well. We can go to the next page again. And these are the manufacturing contributions. So this line is not really we don't, as small business owners here, native small business, we don't really have this type of, not yet, in our area. Client gifts. So your client gifts are taxable up to $25 in IRS fees. So if you are a client, you want to gift some clients, in November for Thanksgiving or Christmas, you can only max it. You can only count $25 of your total. And employee loans, that's usually, like I said, if you guys are if you have a payroll, is everybody doing payroll? Is anybody here today actually have payroll and they actually go through the payroll expenses and they're issuing W-4s to their workers this afternoon? If you want to show of hands. No one? Okay, so a lot of us business owners, we issue W-9s. Okay, issue W-9s. And just remember, be mindful, once you pay somebody to do some services for your business, if it's under $600, I actually categorize it as contract labor. And then if you pay that person if you pay, it's one whole year, if you pay more than $600, I call that contractors. So it's really essential that you have, if you're you pay contractors and you have a W-9, make sure you get the W-9 before you hand them the payment, because at the end of the year, you will also submit a 1099, which is due January 31st. There's a few incidents where some people they refuse to sign the W-9s. And so you had that due diligence through the year to get that done. So when it comes down to January of this past year and they didn't give it to you, but they already took your money, that's where it kind of gets sticky, because we need their social security or the EIN number. Just be cognizant, because if you get in that situation, you're just gonna have to move that to a different line and then also just track it. So if you're going to rehire them the next year, make sure you get that W-9 and then just submit that paperwork, and you'll have to do a late 1099 reporting. Yeah, I agree, Shoni. Definitely, if people are, it's in our true scenario, it's really hard. You want to help your own Indigenous community, and we all need to pay our taxes and do our due diligence. And I have people too. And I have clients that, family members, they just want to be paid under the table, is what everybody would say. That's kind of the line. And at this time, it's something unethical to do as a business owner. And sometimes our communities will say that, and it does happen a lot. So it's up to your discretion if you know, definitely say, I'm not going to work with anybody that does not want to, will pay. Yes, I agree, Joe. It is a financial loss to you. And it just comes with the territory. But once you explain to, you know, these people, these one hires, if they really want to, they'll go ahead and take the W-9s. But yeah, it continuously happens with Indian countries. A lot of us want to work under the table, unfortunately, but it does hurt our business. Okay, I'm gonna go read comments again. Okay, so right now, for a lot of the, if you're gonna utilize a CPA, I feel like on average, the prices for you guys to get closed out for the end of the year is gonna be anywhere from 800 to $1,000 for 2024 business closeout, just for that year. Hiring a bookkeeper to just keep your books on track and continually helping you, you're gonna be they're gonna be charging anywhere from 200 to 500 a month. It just varies, and it really varies. I determine it by how much business activities is running every month and how much at the year end. Okay, do the time limits change based on states which employees are based out of? Do the limits change based on states? Can you clarify that?
Hi, this is Joe Baya. I heard you mentioning earlier the different dollar amounts when you pay contracted employees under $600. I know it's federal, but then I think when we're paying different employees from different states, you might have already covered this. I got on late. I'm sorry. Do different states have different reporting limits?
It's by the feds. It's all uniform in the US. So it's because you're gonna fill the W-9, it's gonna be 600. We will, you W-9 anything over $600. It just, and then, but maybe you're talking about state to state. Some of the states don't have taxations. It's just, they don't have state tax, but you have to do it. So it's a federal thing. Like if you're in a state, Nevada or Montana, they don't have state taxes. And I think there's a couple more that's at that, but yeah, that's an IRS regulation. All right, does anybody have any more closeout questions? Now's your time. I'm the bookkeeper finance person, and if you have any expenses that you're not too sure of, let me know now. So I'm giving you some free tidbits, I guess. So I'm just trying to think of the things I have. Some of my clients we have issues with. I guess if you any partnerships, if you have a partnership business, just remember when you close out your business, that partnership or however your ratio close out, if it's a 50-50 partnership, if it's an 80-20 partnership, that net profit of your business, that will go to, that's how you close out. And we actually, today is the day that you have to, all partners and S Corps needed to submit their closeout business. So if you are a business with partnership status, it's due today. And if you're not done by today, I would highly recommend you contact your CPA or financial person to do an extension, because that rolls into next month to close out. Right now, I guess when you have time this week, go ahead and look at your schedule 1090. You're doing your schedule 1090 as a tax person, and then you're gonna also submit your 1040, which is your schedule 1040, schedule C, I'm sorry, your schedule C. So all those chart of account sheet that I showed you guys, that's where you're gonna roll those dollar amounts up. Your expenditures and your revenue. Okay, I'm just checking to see if anybody has any questions again. Albert, you can go ahead and just email me, or I can give you my number. Let me share my screen again so you have my contact. There you go. And here's my contact for you guys if you guys have any questions and any more taxation questions or any finance and accounting stuff. I'm more than willing to help, or just give me an email about other things if you have questions for your close next month. And if there's any of you guys that are small business owners starting your startup as of this coming year or for 2024s, you have up to $5,000 to actually account on that's a threshold limit for IRS for startup cost for your business. And yeah, and then Albert, I really need, my other goal is I haven't pulled a website yet, so I'm still working on that. I might need to contact you too, if you know how to build a website. I don't know, do we have any other things we have questions for? I have my last session is gonna be next month. And I think I'll just go ahead and focus on the tax parts again, or I want to do, next month I'll probably share Navajo Nation sales tax, how to fill that form up. That one is just a 6%, Navajo Nation 6% total across the board. So I can walk you guys through the Navajo Nation sales tax and then give you a brief introduction if any of you guys are doing taxes. So you're paying taxes if you're off reservation for the city and your state and your county. That's something that you can set up or make sure that, or did you set your business up for that if you're off reservation?
I do have one more question. This is
Sure.
regarding, I guess, continuing education expenses. So in July, I was offered the opportunity to continue an education in machine learning, although it did require me to be located in a different state. To what extent can I write off certain expenses in a different state?
So just whatever the session is, if it's out of state, and then go ahead and count your travel expenses, your hotel, your food, your, all that. If you are if you're driving, go ahead and make sure you account for the mileage. If not, and you just flew in, you're just gonna probably do the flight expenses. And then somebody's explain the $5,000 startup. Yeah, so you can only account for 5,000 that year that you open your business. So and that your threshold is up to 5, just for like licensing your company, you can roll all of those up together and whatever, just to start up getting your building together. If you have a building, if you have all that, and then after that, you can move the rest into those other chart of accounts that I presented earlier. And
I forgot
only for
more.
your first year. Oh, that was another. Did you have another question, Albert?
Yeah, I just recalled. I was gifted a laptop, but there's no record of them like giving it to me. How would I go about that?
If you want to put a value on it, but you should have at least got like a kind of like a donation receipt or something, so we could have account for it. If you have time and it's still 2024, if you're going to recognize it in 2024, try to contact that person and just get their information and then put a value on it. If not, if you don't get that, it's just going to be a loss.
Okay, so it's
Yeah, I wouldn't put it on if you don't have the backup documentations.
okay.
Okay, I'm trying to think of other scenarios. Oh, I guess it's really important. If you all, I'm sure half of us are using point of sales products. Like I said, tour companies most of them are using Fair Harbor. Some of us are using Square. Some of us are using PayPal, but mostly Square, I'm going to say, and these other point of sale systems. And if you notice that they deposit, let's say you've made a sale of $500, but they put a processing fee of $25 for that transaction. But they're only going to deposit $475 in your bank account, your business bank account. So you'll see that process, that $475 that was deposited. And when you're going to book it through one of your accounting systems, you'll see that you'll match $475 deposit in your Wells Fargo business account. And then in the back end, you're going to go into Square, and Square is going to run, there's a section in Square that will have that whole total amount of $500. But you really are only, it hides, it's a hidden cost, that $25 processing fee. So you're going to match that up to your system and make sure you add that, because you won't see it in your QuickBooks or Wave, that you don't see that $25 processing. You're gonna have to add another line when you're ready to transfer it into this QuickBooks line. So just be cognizant, and it does add up. So if you want to run, you can run your Square reports and look at your bank deposit. So run your bank deposit report for 2024, and you'll capture that. You'll see the actual gross amount that was for that sale, and then you'll see the processing, and then you'll see the deposit. And it gets crazy when you look at all these processing fees and how much we're paying into it. It just gets a hidden cost. So just pay attention to that. Maybe run that one this afternoon if you want to, whatever processing point of sales software that you're using. Okay, I'm trying to.
I had a quick question.
Sure.
So if I'm working from my home and I have a space, the square footage that I'm utilizing, do I use the IRS's recommendation for the square footage for me to deduct, like as far as how much that is? And then for like internet costs, if I'm primarily using that for most of my services, do I write that off as well?
Yes, so if you're utilizing, yeah, there's a recommendation on IRS, and then some of these, when you're gonna use when you're doing your filing your taxes, some of these tax softwares, they already kind of have a suggestion if you give them your square footage of your room that you're utilizing for business, and then it'll like do the calculations for you. And then IRS does have a manual, like a worksheet to do that process too. So if you just kind of went through the link that the girls put up for the IRS, there's a section for the small business and how much square footage and then the calculation. Yes. And then for internet, if it's your home internet you're utilizing, but it's mostly for business, it's okay to go ahead and utilize that internet expense to them as long as you're getting, if it's an auto pay system, it's auto paying from your business account, and because you're predominantly working at your home virtual office.
I guess like the value that I get for what is estimated for the square footage, that's for tax accounting. Do I use that same exact value for the other documentation that I would use, like the P&L and all the other stuff? Like, do I use the same values if they kind of go across the board for the other three things that we usually would need for, loans and things like that?
That would be separately. So that's just the percentage on yours. That's an IRS. They roll up that home base deductions in the tax part. But as far as operating the business in general, like all together, it's not going to be really seen in the system, only that utilities payments. You know what I mean? And if you're doing a rent of the business, but that's a virtual. So yeah, it's not going to show on your business, your business expenses on that side. Only if you were renting a space out of your home, you would put that rent expense into that line, into your business line. Does that make sense?
I think so. I mean, I'm obviously renting my home, but if I'm using a portion of it solely for production and all of the things, then that square footage is still considered rent directly aligned.
You can cost allocate it, how much percent of the total home that would be considered the rent part. You know what I mean?
Okay, I think so, yeah.
Yeah, you have to cost allocate it because that particular square footage, then if you have like $1,000 rent and only, but your 500 is actually for that one room for your business, then you can cost allocate that. And I would probably do it till the year end and then book it and do a journal entry. Utilize that, clean it up and put it in there so you see all 12 months at one time or roll up to 12 months.
Okay, thank you.
And so here's my contact. That's my cell phone number and that's my email address, delphinabegay.wateredge@gmail.com. And I can still take on some clients, but honestly, at this point in time, if you need your taxes done for next month, I can't do them because I'm booked. I would have to encourage you guys to do an extension. I can take on some extension clients. And with me, I want to work with clients where we're working together. I want to educate you guys how to run your business on the financial portions and just be very cognizant of those items and just like making sure that you understand how your business flows. Some of my current clients, I do specialize for small businesses in Indian country. I have a lot of them are tour companies. So I have tour company clients. I have agricultural clients, art gallery artisan clients. I recently I got on with a professional athlete, so I'm doing their books and videographers. So it's kind of fun. I think right now I'm at the point where I have some experience in what type of expenses, how many businesses and what type of chart of accounts, because each industry has different chart of accounts. So we walk through those and I really am about helping you, assisting you in understanding the business finances of your business. Because like I said, that's a big main foundation of your business. And I'm not afraid of how you do. I don't judge how I have a client that I signed on last week, Don't be scared. I'm okay about you giving me a shoebox full of receipts. So I understand that. I understand the lack of infrastructures we have in Indian country. And you know, it's amazing how much of us business owners are out there in a rural, remote area and how we're functioning our businesses. And I'm really proud of that. But I'm most proud of us taking that risk and building something for our community, building something for our people. And really, we have hardly any finance and accounting, indigenous children going to school, maybe give them a chance, or I can help mentor, and then I can outsource these clients. And even thinking about summer, yeah, I laugh about that too. It's fine with that, but let's, you know, start your business, do what you're doing, and then maybe you can hire the next indigenous bookkeeper or finance. You're giving them the opportunity, because some of us don't want to go back and live in a big city and just that crazy hustling and bustling of the city. And some of us want to just stay home in our backyards. And you never know, you might hire a good finance person and they're doing everything virtual in a Hogan, you know, that's so cool. If I mean, I think of it that way, that, you know, we want to go home and do this. And I have to honestly balance my company back and forth from Page Lachie to Phoenix, just because right now I'm in actually Phoenix. The internet up there will not pull my data as quickly as down here in Phoenix. So I have to go back and forth for that. But feel free to reach out to me or contact Change Lab and let me know. Like you said, if you have any questions, I can help as much. Yeah, some of us are lucky that we can do our home bases on the reservation, and just let's just help each other. And maybe within 5-10 years, we'll actually, you know, have our own little mall of services, or like I don't know, go, like, instead of Go Angie, we can go Johnny business or something like that, that we all can contact each other and doing what is there. Other things is my resources that you can do to educate yourself in small business is, of course, Change Lab. Contact your SBD group from Coconino. I use Coconino County. If you guys use other stuff, if you're from the Page area, you can utilize the community college, and they have some sessions. And then I know Kienta has some small business programs, and they have some webinars out there. I cannot remember what organization's conducting that. So I don't know, Shoni, if you've actually went to those workshops there. And I've noticed that a lot of Navajo DED is starting to do some workshops and in our surrounding communities. So definitely look at those, look at stuff, website portals and things like that. But I just want to say thank you for this afternoon, for giving me the opportunity to present. And hopefully you learned some things, or you have questions later on about your expenses. Feel free to just throw me an email and say, I have this, or text me and say, I have already had some people texting about their cellular expenses and how much can I account for them, but I use it back and forth, personal and business. So I'm fine with that. So just go ahead and reach out to me, or if not, let Raquel will put me in contact. Raquel, do you want to close out?
Yeah, thank you. So thank you everyone for being here. If you have any residual questions or comments, definitely screenshot Delphine's screen here